It's another week, and there's always news to report. I was going to talk about censorship, the curtailing of free speech, but that seems to be mundane after having read what Joseph Stiglitz, the famous economist, had to say about our government and what's happening in our world and what will happen if we don't change our ways. First, if you're not familiar with Joseph Stiglitz, let me tell you a little about him. He's a Nobel Prize-winning economist. He believes in John Maynard Keynes, and if you don't know who Keynes is, he's the economist who FDR used to bail us out of the Great Depression. He's also has said many times, Keynes, that government has the money and the power to create growth in our country and 100% employment. And I believe that's true. And also to give back to the people who need giving back to. Not the billionaires, not the ultra-wealthy, but the folks in the middle and lower classes. There's got to be a real way up the ladder. And right now, there's no way up the ladder. If Trump and the billionaires who make policy in our country have their way, we're going to be pursuing fossil fuels. Fossil fuels and the same old product development that we've always had. Is that going to give us growth? No. That's going to make sure that the corporations who are making money are entrenched in making money, getting rid of labor, and putting more AI into positions that humans used to have. What's going to save us? New creative development. That's what's going to save us. New energy paths. Not just solar and wind, but hydrogen, hydropower, fusion. All of this should be looked at. Quantum physics. Ideas that power our world. That's what we should be looking at, and that don't create pollution and will not cause our planet to overheat. You probably didn't read it, but there's so much drought in southern Georgia and northern Florida that they've had wildfires lately. The coast, the West Coast, through some of the western states, have had record high temperatures this winter. And what did I read in The Guardian by Joseph Stiglitz? The Atlantic Ocean currents are changing. They're going to get warmer. And when they get warmer, the current flow will change. We'll have a melting of the Antarctic, and we'll have a freezing in Northern Europe and Europe. England could see minus 19 degrees centigrade. The eastern coast, we're going to have flooding again. Remember Sandy, when we thought 14 feet was high? Well, it's going to be worse than 14 feet, folks. So I expect the floods will come up past 34th Street. Is that what we want? According to Trump, it really doesn't matter because he's following an economist by the name of Nordhous. He got a Nobel Prize in 2018. And he said it really doesn't matter whether we have people or not. The temperatures can rise 4 degrees centigrade, and we know at 4 degrees centigrade, we're going to have a lot of deaths globally. But the billionaires don't care. The folks making a killing on fossil fuels don't care. No, we already know that. In some of the states, they've created bills so that they can eliminate free lunches in Tennessee to poor kids who need free lunches. They're eliminating diaper service, poor people, even though they've got the cash to fund it because they don't want to do the administration. And they believe in fossil fuels. And that's why Larry Ellison is moving to Tennessee, because they're pro-Trump. They're pro-Trump, and they're also pro-conservation. But the conservation really is not going to matter if they keep going after fossil fuels. It's complex. When we know that hydrocarbons cause more asthma, they're bad for growing kids' lungs, what's the point of saving a river when we're going to die from pollution? We got to get off of fossil fuels. And what's Trump doing? He wants to save the UAE because they suffered during the Iranian war that he caused. He doesn't want to give the Iraqis the money that they earned from fuel because he says they're aligned with Iran. Give me a break. And he wants to bail out Spirit Airlines, a small corporation. He wants to make that an American company that we're all paying for. This is absurd policy. We got to get off of fossil fuels, and when we do, we got to regulate AI. We got to regulate the data centers, because there's more to living than just knowing the products that we've gotten used to. Because those products are not healthy for us. We got to get rid of Teflon. We got to get rid of the plastics. It's all killing us. And we got to get rid of Trump, for sure, and his regime, and every Republican in Congress on the state, local, and federal level that supports him and his backward, absolutely capitalist uber alles policy and nothing for the American people. We got to change, and we got to change this November. So everyone watch on May Day for who's striking and what companies we're boycotting. Amazon should be number one on the list, along with a couple of other billionaire-sponsored corporations who don't care about people at all. We have the folks here in America who can turn our country around. But it's not residing with Trump or the Congress that's in his pocket and a lot of the folks in the red states. I know there's pushback. The astronauts are banding together and using their voice to say how dangerous Trump's policies are. I think it's time to be concerned.